Caitlyn Clark versus Bronny James one-on-one. Ridiculous. And I think Bronny has some translatable skills.
When Jeff Teague, former NBA player, boldly claimed that Bronny James would obliterate Caitlyn Clark and Aja Wilson in a one-on-one game, the sports world erupted.
Jeff Teague, former NBA player, said Caitlyn Clark would not score against Bronny James, that he would destroy her. He said the same thing about Aja Wilson.
His remarks weren't just about basketball. They touched on deeper debates about skill, biology, and the spectacle of competition. But how fair are these comparisons? And what do they reveal about the broader dynamics of gender in sports?
As a general rule of thumb, there are physical differences between men and women. That is just science.
Let's break down the controversy, the context, and the truths behind this heated conversation.
He is kind of brought up as the bum. Doesn't belong in the league and is only there because of his dad. Did Bronny benefit because of who his dad was? Absolutely. He has shown no grace.
Jeff Teague's remarks stirred the pot, but they weren't without context. On the Club 520 podcast, Teague didn't just compare Bronny James to Caitlyn Clark and Aja Wilson. He dismissed their chances entirely.
And I think Jeff Teague went OD on this take, how extreme he was in the results of the take.
According to him, Bronny wouldn't just win, he'd shut them out completely, leaving the scoreboard at a brutal 20-0. This wasn't just a playful hypothetical, it was a bold assertion rooted in the physical differences between male and female athletes.
Caitlyn Clark would not score a point on Bronny James, bro, Teague said, when asked who would win a one-on-one game between these two 2024 rookies. She might not even get a shot off, bro. Teague later added that Bronny would beat Aja Wilson 20-0 if they were to play. Later on, Teague added of Bronny and Clark, he would beat her by 60 points. He would legit beat her 20-0. Bronny's younger brother, Bryce, would beat her 20-0. He's 10 times more athletic than her. He can do everything better than her. She's a girl, bro.
Teague emphasized Bronny's superior athleticism, explosive speed, and strength, framing it as an insurmountable barrier for Clark and Wilson.
I don't think one-on-one is a good indicator of how great a player someone is. There are players who may be better one-on-one players than others who are not as good within the team concept. And I think this would really limit Caitlyn Clark because you're perhaps taking away her number one attribute, which is her ability to see the floor. Makes it tougher for her.
However, the controversy wasn't just about the hypothetical matchup. It also reignited discussions about Bronny James himself. Often overshadowed by his father's legacy, Bronny has faced relentless scrutiny. Critics have labeled him as a beneficiary of nepotism, questioning his place in professional basketball. Yet, despite setbacks like his cardiac arrest, Bronny has demonstrated flashes of potential. His quickness, court vision, and defensive instincts are undeniable.
You know, Aja Wilson did joke with Josh Hart that she would beat him on that roommate show that he does with Jalen Brunson. She, I believe, has about a 2-inch height advantage over Bronny. Can she turn her back to him, protect the ball? Because if she can get to that free throw line extended area, she can really shoot the ball from there.
Teague's extreme take seemed to elevate Bronny to a level even his staunchest supporters might hesitate to claim, making his comments a lightning rod for debate.
With Caitlyn, I think defense is a huge issue for her, obviously, in any of these prospective matchups. But if you were to put Caitlyn, I think, in an NBA dynamic on the floor, I don't think she could hang at all on defense, but I think she could maybe find her way to score.
The debate over these hypothetical matchups also highlights the complexity of comparing athletes across genders. Caitlyn Clark and Aja Wilson are not just standout players in women's basketball, they're trailblazers. Clark's unmatched ability to sink deep threes and her court vision have drawn comparisons to NBA sharpshooters, while Wilson's dominance in the paint and leadership have earned her MVP titles.
But the difference between her and Wilson here is she has better handles and she can shoot from further away.
These athletes are celebrated for their skills, but Teague's comments shifted the narrative to one of physicality and athleticism, downplaying the unique strengths they bring to the game.
What is she doing wrong? What more do you want from Caitlyn Clark? Seriously, what more do you want from her? She's focusing on the game. She lifted her team up, got them to the playoffs, won Rookie of the Year, and then also is denouncing racial tensions when she's asked about it. I'm sorry, I don't see anything more that Caitlyn Clark should have done or could have done.
One-on-one matchups, as critics pointed out, don't capture the full essence of a player's greatness. Basketball is a team sport, and Clark and Wilson's value lies in their ability to elevate their teammates, a skill that doesn't shine in isolation.
Caitlyn Clark raised the profile of women's basketball to unprecedented levels in both the college ranks and the WNBA, and Tuesday she was named the AP Female Athlete of the Year for her impact on and off the court.
Clark's precision passing and Wilson's defensive acumen are game-changing in team dynamics, but those talents are muted in a hypothetical one-on-one scenario. This isn't just about basketball, it's about how we define greatness. Are raw athleticism and physical dominance the ultimate measures? Or should we also value the nuanced skills that make players indispensable in a team setting?
She has certainly always had a level of respect and reverence for the pioneers that came before her. I mean, one of the viral moments involving Caitlyn Clark was when she finally met Maya Moore. Maya Moore is her favorite player ever.
These questions fueled the firestorm surrounding Teague's statements. While Jeff Teague's comments were polarizing, they also revealed a deeper cultural fascination with hypothetical matchups.
Clark is only the fourth women's basketball player to be honored as the Female Athlete of the Year since it was first presented in 1931, joining Cheryl Swoops, Rebecca Lobo, and Candace Parker. The impact and just success that she has had this year is insane.
The idea of Bronny James facing Caitlyn Clark or A'ja Wilson isn't just about basketball, it's about the spectacle. Fans love debates that blend skill, biology, and controversy because they spark curiosity and emotion. Could this matchup ever happen? Likely not, but the intrigue lies in imagining how these players, each excelling in their own domain, would fare against one another.
Now, another award that Caitlyn Clark just won this week is the 2024 Sports Business Journal Best Sports Business Athlete, and that went to Caitlyn Clark.
Moreover, this conversation underscores the broader challenge of valuing women's sports. While Clark and Wilson are celebrated in the WNBA, their achievements are often overshadowed by comparisons to male athletes.
Now, as Clark's popularity continued to explode, those of us with common sense and good observational skills could see the truth. While the majority of people root for Clark because she's a generational talent, there was another loud contingent in the room that saw Clark's success as an opportunity to let off some steam about how they really felt about Black women. That loud contingent is now big mad because it turns out that Caitlyn Clark isn't nearly as hateful and unaware as they wanted her to be.
This hypothetical matchup, while entertaining, perpetuates the narrative that women's sports are only compelling when measured against men's. Yet events like the WNBA All-Star Game prove that skill and talent transcend physical differences. When paired with NBA players in skill-based competitions, women like Clark and Wilson shine, showcasing that basketball is as much about strategy and precision as it is about raw athleticism.
It said no one thought this day would ever come, an NBA team riding a WNBA team's coattails, but that's how Caitlyn Clark has changed the world. The Indiana Fever are now a global brand that Indiana Pacers executives say that they can only hope to someday replicate, which once again proves why Clark is SBJ's choice as the best sports business athlete of the year for 2024. She has unlocked the power of women's athletics with a following that has drawn comparisons to Michael Jordan in his Chicago Bulls heyday.
In the end, Teague's extreme stance may have been exaggerated, but it sparked a necessary conversation about how we view athletes and the biases that shape those perspectives. It's not just about who would win, it's about appreciating the unique qualities each player brings to the game.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing that's happened to me over the course of my career. But also, I grew up a fan of this league from a very young age. Like, my favorite player was Maya Moore. Like, I know what this league was about. And like I said, like, it's only been around 25 plus years. So I know there's been so many amazing Black women that have been in this league, and continuing to uplift them, I think, is very important. And that's something I'm very aware of. And like I said, like, I try to just be real and authentic and, you know, share my truth. And I think that's very easy for me. Like, I'm very comfortable in my own skin. And that's kind of been how it is my entire life.
Yes.
Jeff Teague's fiery comments may have started as a casual podcast discussion, but they opened a much larger debate about sports, gender, and perception.
In the Indiana Fever, President Allison Barber revealed this request made by Clark during the season. Listen.
After a few away games and all of the sellouts, Caitlyn asked the WNBA if they would pay spot bonuses to the away team players. She said,
Wow.
we're making all this new revenue, and I would like the away team to benefit from that. Could they get a spot bonus? So that's the heart of Caitlyn Clark. I mean, that's a classy, amazing person.
While the idea of Bronny James dominating Caitlyn Clark and Aja Wilson in a one-on-one matchup may be an intriguing hypothetical, it ultimately misses the bigger picture. Each of these athletes thrives in their own realm, contributing to the sport in ways that extend beyond raw physicality.
I was wrong about the impact that Caitlyn Clark was going to have on the WNBA. I did not think it was possible that one player could come in and basically quadruple the ratings. Caitlyn Clark, in terms of pro team sports impact, is the single most influential athlete that I have ever seen in my life.
Caitlyn Clark, 25.6 rebounds, 9 assists. The last rookie in NBA, WNBA playoff history to reach these numbers was Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was great. He could do everything. Caitlyn Clark just had a playoff series like Magic Johnson did way back in his rookie year.
Instead of focusing on divisive comparisons, perhaps the real takeaway is to celebrate the incredible talent and diversity that basketball offers. After all, it's the blend of skill, passion, and competition that keeps fans coming back, no matter who's on the court.
Her game resonates with people in basketball and across the country because she's got that edge. She plays with a flair, but she's got that edge. The hands go up.
It was such a bittersweet end to a phenomenal rookie season that Caitlyn Clark had. And it honestly got me to just reflecting on this season. And it sucks that so much of it was riddled with so much drama and so much negativity and so many mishaps that the WNBA had throughout the entire season.
Her first playoff game, drawing 1.84 million viewers. Ridiculous numbers. Caitlyn Clark came in and made such an impact on how many people started to care about the WNBA. This was the highest viewed season in the history of the league.
The Fever averaged 4,066 in attendance last year. This year, 17,035. The Pacers averaged 15,600 last year. This year, 16,528. They beat the Pacers. Fever's average attendance higher than 5 NBA teams. If you asked anybody, would you ever see a day where the Indiana Fever outdrew the Pacers, they would laugh at you. This is the effect of Caitlyn Clark.